Look at that haircut, man. Hello. Welcome back to the channel. Ern here. I buy, sell, trade, collect, grade, and invade. I buy, sell, trade, collect, vet, and grade. Been a bit. Took a small break, and that's what happens. Welcome back. If you're unfamiliar, my name's Ern. This is a channel in which I just talk about the hobby of cards and collectibles. And I had to take a short break. Went on a trip with the family and some friends. Had to go see some other family. Now I'm back in action. First things first, let's cut straight to it. If you liked and commented and you're subscribed on the other video I talked about like 2 weeks ago, the one I'm going to link down below, thank you. At the end of this video, I want to pull the winner for that. Thank you for the support. You get a 151 booster bundle, which apparently now is like 75, 80 bucks. What am I doing? I'm giving away free money. Thank you for support. I appreciate it more than you know. And that's why you should just comment, subscribe, and like videos because I like to give away stuff. So thank you for that. And you know what? If you do it on this video, next week I'll pull another person, another 151 bundle. All you got to do is like, comment, and subscribe on this video. Something genuine, something sweet. Call me pretty, call me neat, whatever you want to do. I'll pull a winner. No fake accounts, no duplicate accounts, no spamming. That's it. That's all you got to do. Anyway, that's it for me. Today's video is about, man, we got a lot to talk about, don't we? How about them megas, huh? Today's video is going to be about something very specific. I tee this up as if I know what I'm talking about. It's going to be all over the place, let's be honest. We're going to talk about the fact that nobody knows everything. And we'll eventually get there somehow, some way. But let's first talk about megas. I'm super excited about the mega set. I'm also excited about black and white. I have some coming. I'm going to rip. I'm going to enjoy it. Their cards are going to come out. They're going to look like trash. PSA 8 quality. And that's just the way it is ripping modern. I don't know. I've said multiple times now, I'm excited for black and white. I don't care for black and white as like the genre. I'm just excited because I feel like they are really putting their foot on the gas in terms of like stepping up the quality of the artworks and the pulls and the IRs. It's exciting for me. I'm probably not going to get anything. It's probably going to be a waste of money. But since I wasted a lot of money in collectors booster boxes of Final Fantasy, I figured I'd buy some more Pokemon. So, there's that. But the mega set, that Bulbasaur, you know what Bulbasaur I'm talking about. That Bulbasaur with the little black neon green pink tint. Man, that card looks phenomenal. I am super excited for this set. I'm excited for that promo. I probably won't be ripping too much of this set because it's just not worth the money. But I will be looking for ways to let's try to get over real quick if I can. Thank you. Jeez. California driving. I will be looking for plays, things to buy, things to grade. Mainly for me, let's just talk about modern English right now. I'm really only looking at some promos, the Cake EV, probably the terrestrialized Espeon and Umbreon. They're coming out in that premium collection. Maybe some other ones. I'm looking at them to figure out a good entry point to buy because I like those cards and I think over time they're going to do well. I'm not really buying much of anything else. I have a bunch of Pikachu Black Star promo 020. Shout out to you, wherever you are out there, which is now pushing. I think there's a recent sale for $550 yesterday. I have 25 of them, so I'm happy. I'm sitting pretty. Cost basis is like high 200s now. We're good. We're gonna ride this thing out. Maybe when they get to like 800, I'll sell a couple, 1,000. We'll see, right? Other than that, though, on the modern end, English modern end, there's those. I have my Van Gogh Pikachus I've been buying. There's actually not really much of anything else. I've slowed down on buying Pokemon Go Mewtwo Vs. Part of it is because, I kind of wanted to wait for the market to catch up a bit. I have about 30 some copies in English. Ooh, that's a dead ass bird. Sorry, I don't know why I said it like that. That was a very dead bird with body parts everywhere. I put my foot off the gas on English Modern. The sealed, I haven't really been looking at. I haven't been paying attention to the MSRP drops. If you can get an MSRP drop, everyone knows it's like the best thing you could buy because it goes up. You can flip it. You're a dirty, filthy scalper. Blah 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 blah. Everyone knows how the game is played these days. But I'm still waiting on the sideline, enjoying what I can, ripping what I can, enjoying some of the stuff, and just being patient. On the Japanese end, I've been very active. So, you know, shout out to my friend Donnie, Donnie Slabs. I'll just talk about it. I don't really care. If you're unaware, in 2023 at the World Championship, they released a Yokohama deck that was printed into mass oblivion and was available everywhere for several months, even after the event. In that deck comes a Pikachu EX, is it SAR? A great looking card with Miraidon and Koraidon in it. Card looks phenomenal. However, at the time, a lot of people were let down primarily because the deck wasn't really exclusive. It was printed to demand. It was available everywhere. It was a promo that many thought were going to be several hundreds to $1,000. Instead, it sold for, I think the deck went as low as like $150, $200, something like that. So this card nowadays, if you haven't been paying attention, it's a pop 17,000, which is high in PSA 10. And recent solds are now going for $600. This card sat at 150 to 250 for the better half of what, a year and a half, quite some time. So if you're looking for a play, free advice, no Patreon. I make no money from this outside of this ad revenue. Here's a card that if you can figure out how to source, especially the sealed decks, you can grade, and it has a fairly high, I think 90% gem rate. So it doesn't mean it's automatically going to get a 10, but it's probably going to get a 10. If you can get the deck, grade the card, maybe sell off the singles for a couple bucks, you're looking at anywhere between like a 30 and 40% margin, net fees, net all that stuff. That's a pretty good flip right now. I've purchased 30 of them, 30 of the decks. So I'm sitting pretty. That's one of the things I am getting my hands in on because I see the opportunity. And honestly, this kind of ties into why I want to talk about the topic of why no one knows everything, is because I think everyone thought that this card was going to be really, really good until it wasn't. And by that, I mean it didn't appreciate as fast as people thought it would. But now that the card is appreciating, you get a lot of people saying like, oh, of course I knew that. Of course I knew it was going to be worth this much, 2 years later, like, duh, it makes so much sense. It doesn't really make sense until it does, or until it doesn't. And, I see a lot more of this these days where people are like, oh yeah, of course gold stars are going to go up. Of course these cards are worth this much. Of course this card, of course ponchos are going to be worth 10K. It's like, guys, hey girls, these things aren't true until they're true. And honestly, you don't really benefit from it unless you're participating. There's a lot of this like armchair quarterback, Monday morning quarterback action of like, of course that card's going to be worth more. Of course this is going to go up. Of course. And you hear a lot of the commentary from people, of course, who aren't really doing it. This is why. Are we ranting now? Ranting now. This is why I'm an advocate for people to figure out how to be a seller. Go make deals, go find vendor friends, go to shows, go buy, go throw a stack of cash on a bunch of singles that you want and ask for like 80%. Go create, stop consuming. Because once you do, instead of having an opinion on these things, everyone can have an opinion. It's free. You can go to YouTube University today and learn how to be a better investor, how to buy this single, how to flip this card, how to do that thing. Everyone can be an expert on typing and being an online warrior. It's not hard anymore. However, it's the people who are actually active with money, going to shows, selling, making deals, understanding how to flip, understanding how to grade, understanding that there's a window of time to buy seal to invest. There's understanding that waiting the long game is how you make. There's so many things that you can learn. If you're doing it, that's the best teacher. And I think these days, a lot of people feel like they know so much about what to do, what to buy, what to invest in, but very few people are actually doing. I want to talk about Final Fantasy because, of course, this is the Final Fantasy channel. What am I doing? Um, because I've learned a lot in Final Fantasy, and this is me admitting a lot of my arrogance about Final Fantasy. And as someone who spent a lot ripping product, grading cards, buying singles, hoarding this stuff, and I figured I'd share some of it, in this video, so you get some perspective from me and where some of this topic is coming from. Now, let me reset. If you're familiar, Final Fantasy, Magic had a collaboration, blah, 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 blah. The collector boxes are around $1,200. They shot up. They retraced down to like 1,100, 1,050. Now they're back up to 1,200. Demand is still there. It's still very high. I think we're at like 50 sales a day on TC Player and eBay. The box is still selling. However, if you look at the top chases, search foils is what we call them. So not the chocobos, but the top chases. The sales volume for these cards has gone down fairly drastically. It's gone down a lot. And it is kind of odd considering how well the collector boxes are selling. But there could be a lot of reasons for it. One reason could be maybe this audience is buying these cards in person and online. I find that to be very unlikely, but it's possible. Maybe the demand isn't there for these singles. Maybe there's too many of these singles that exist in the market and people are just not willing or able to absorb the current prices that are being asked. That's possible. Or maybe this game, this IP, this collaboration, this set doesn't work in the same way like Pokemon. And I think that is what I am learning about someone who is, I would say, pretty advanced in Pokemon, right? I do fairly well. Definitely elementary/novice in Magic. Intermediate with Final Fantasy. But this is what I'm learning about this audience. I already knew that Magic players, the Magic audience doesn't really buy too many graded cards. I've known that for a long time, blah, 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 blah. Like serialized are different, but a lot of Magic cards just don't have the same premium when they're graded or not. Part of that's because Magic is primarily a game that's played. And I assume that the collectors in Magic don't really care if they have a slab or not. So they're not willing to pay the premium, right? But with Final Fantasy, what I'm seeing is never have I seen a set for any game where the boxes and packs are so hot, but the singles market, I'm not going to say it's not holding up, but I think the explanation is it's not correlating as strongly as I thought they would be. I'll use some examples. For all you furry friends out there who love, animal humanoids, your Sola is at like $600 now, 550 to 600. Out of the gate, this card spiked to 850, so it's retraced quite a bit. It is still the top search foil, ahead of Sephiroth. Sephiroth is now down to like 500. I believe the peak for Sephiroth was like 650, 700. Now, the price in itself isn't really what I'm as concerned about. It's actually the sales volume. When the cards first came out, they were selling at, double digits per day. Nowadays, they sell, I think the last few days, or when I checked on this like Friday, today's Monday, Friday or Saturday, some of them were selling for like single digits per day. Now, that's still kind of a lot when you think about how expensive a card it is. But in the grand scheme of Final Fantasy Magic, collector boxes selling 50 plus units a day, booster packs still at $100, right? The number of cards being listed and sold, that ratio seems off. Meaning there are more that are being listed every day. I think last I checked, there was like 50, 60, 70 copies of some of the top search foils. But the number of sales isn't actually matching that. I don't have a comparison for this in Pokemon, by the way. This doesn't happen in modern Pokemon. When a set comes out and there's a top chase and it's a hot set with the hot card, hot top 3 cards, you would not expect single digit sales for that card. You would expect double digits, sometimes triple digits. Probably not triple digits, double digits for sure, for like the most expensive cards. Final Fantasy is in this weird boat where I think there's way more demand for the collector box and the potential chance that you could get a serialized chocobo, right? Over the actual top cards in the set that are not chocobos. Some comps for you. The neon traveling chocobos, I have 9 of them in grading. 6 of them are coming back. 2 most recent sales that I saw, one was like $3,500 for a blue, and one was like 4,000 something. I think it was also for a blue, or maybe it was a gray. I forget. Right? Just 2. The pop report there showed that there's about, I think 44, 120, 110 to 120 of the total 250-ish cards that are graded. Those are chocobos, right? Outside of chocobos, the PSA 10 sales for Surge foils, Final Fantasy cards, I could not find more than 10. I don't even think it's more than 10. I think it was like 5 or 6. Why am I calling this out? There is a lot more demand right now for the collector boxes than for any of the singles. Now, that statement itself might not seem surprising, but let's draw a comparison because I am a Pokemon person first through and through. I'm a wannabe Final Fantasy collector, Magic collector, blah, 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 blah. This is like comparing a most recent set in Pokemon where the boxes are selling at a higher velocity and an elevated market rate, but then the single prices are not keeping up. And the top chases are not keeping up. People are not buying them at the prices that are being asked. Again, there's a lot of different things that could be happening here. It could be the market doesn't agree with the current market prices of these singles, and they are kind of high. Therefore, they're pricing out a lot of their audience, and maybe the audience is just waiting. $300, $200, maybe $100 for Sephiroth and your Stola and some of these top cards. I don't know. That's a possibility. I don't think that's likely, but it's a possibility, right? I think what is happening is that people just don't value the singles as much as they do the sealed. And is that because there's a bunch of dirty, filthy Pokemon investors in? Maybe. Is that because the singles are awesome, but they're just priced way too high? Probably. Is it because this set really is defined by its chocobo chase, not by anything else? I don't know. All these are possibilities, right? But it is teaching me one thing. And going back to the grand topic about what this video is about, no matter how much you think you know about Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Magic, Slabubus, whatever, markets, right? Nobody knows everything. And just because you understand how Pokemon works, which, by the way, I do through and through, I think I'm pretty good at it. There are a lot of things that do not apply in Magic, which Magic players are going to say, duh, dummy. Okay, fair. But there's just some oddities with how there's so much demand for the sealed product in Final Fantasy that's not translating to the singles market. And I'm like shocked. I'm still excited, confident, because there is this window here where maybe the market has this all wrong and there's opportunity for people who are early adopters, like myself, moi, who have purchased a lot of Surge foils, who've gone heavy into Final Fantasy, for when the market decides, hey, there's something wrong here, and they decide that they want to vote with their wallets and actually start to buy more graded cards and singles and that kind of thing. That is a possibility. It probably is not going to happen just because the sheer size of this game and the demand of Final Fantasy and Magic has me believing that there's no way that this type of opportunity would have just slipped in front of people's faces and they were like, oh, whoops, we forgot about Final Fantasy. It's doing so well. Why would anyone buy singles? I don't think that's probably going to happen, but it is a possibility. Anyway, what is this video even about? My point is with all of this is talking about, I think a lot of people spend so much time online trying to comment on things that they would never do, trying to talk about markets that they never participate in, trying to talk up things that they would never buy. And one thing I've learned just by putting my money, my dumb money, my degenerate money, where my mouth is with Final Fantasy is I've learned a lot about how there's so much nuance in this hobby. That doesn't matter just because you understand Pokemon sealed and singles, it doesn't it doesn't translate. It doesn't necessarily mean it will translate to another game, another hobby. All that really translates is there was going to be a great point there. I felt it. Nope, nope. Yeah, I lost that one. Um, do I still feel confident about? Do I still feel good about my decision in Final Fantasy? Yes. I sold about 50% of what I opened, the singles that were not graded. That's a weird explanation. I have sold about 50% of the value that I opened on TC Play already. Go me. That's actually pretty good. The rest of the stuff that I haven't sold is either being listed and sold right now, in grading, or in grading. Okay. I have 9 chocobos. Sidebar, have you seen Inglorious Bastards? Remember that scene where he's like 3 and not 3, and then he gets caught for being a spy? Um, 9 chocobos. Average price right now is like 1,400, 1,500. I paid. 3 are BGS 10s. I'm not a spy, I promise. I'm going to send them back into BGS to see if I can get them black labeled. We'll see. I mean, that's who knows. There are like 7 black labels, I think, for those chocobos. Why not add 3 more? The other 6, I'm going to sell. And when I sell those 6, if I can get anywhere close to 3,500, let's just say 3,000 net, right? I'm in the money. With just the birds, I'm in the money. I'm in good shape. So my goal, I still feel confident about what I'm doing. My goal is to make a lot of that money back. I'm fortunate. I got lucky. It is what it is. And honestly, I'm gonna wait for the market to kind of cool down a little bit and keep buying surge foils. I really like Final Fantasy this set, and market data isn't really there to back up a lot of singles. I'll be honest; it's still quite speculative for me. But when I zoom out and I think about this opportunity being in this game, it still excites me. And I got my weird side plays in Pokemon, Japanese stuff, promos. That's still going to continue. But in lieu of English Modern for Pokemon, this is still it for me. I'm going to slow down a bit. I got to catch up on collector booster boxes because I did end up ripping like most of them at this point. Um, but I feel good about it. And I think one thing I've learned throughout all this, like, is it about the money? How much can you make? What should you buy? What should you sell? One thing I've learned is I still feel pretty damn good about the decision to lean so much into Final Fantasy. It's nostalgic. I like the IP. I like the collaboration. And even though it's not going to be like the 10x return opportunity, although the birds are like basically 100% gain. At the end of the day, the most important thing is I just feel pretty good. I feel good about the involvement and the dedication and the focus on it. And it hurts to say, but it actually does feel good knowing that I did not get all this right. And I can admit to myself that, hey, just because you know so much about Pokemon and the markets doesn't mean it's going to apply to something as nuanced as Final Fantasy Magic. And that's okay. Learning lesson, and all this is about learning. But bigger point, you never learn until you actually do. You don't actually learn by watching and talking all day. You learn by putting your money where your mouth is, make money, lose money, and that's how you get better. All right, that's all I got. 151 bundle. Am I the only person talking about Magic, Final Fantasy, and Pokemon, by the way? I have like new people saying they found me because of Final Fantasy, and then I have people still watching Pokemon. Whatever. 151 bundle on this video. Like, comment, subscribe, blah, 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 blah. Do your thing. I will pull the winner of the previous bundle on this at the end of this video. And that's it. Good to be back. If you're selling anything, collector boosters, hit me up on Instagram. I am buying, still buying. And other than that, I'm not really buying much else. Thank you guys for watching. That's all I got for you today. Have a great rest of your Monday and the start of your week. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace. 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 Bird flex. All right. Let's pick this winner. Here's the video. Keyword filter. Anything goes. Ready? And the winner is... Dun, 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 dun. Dry. Thanks, buddy. Reach out to me on IG. Appreciate it. Peace.